Hey guys, Green here, and a quick break from this Greentext to bring you this video's sponsor, Over. Over is a Metaverse platform that serves to build and visualize geolocated virtual reality and augmented reality experiences. And the best part is that they provide all the tools to build, host, and visualize these experiences. The plots of land that you can buy can be used for gaming, live events, virtual retail, real estate, tourism, advertised marketing, anything you want really. It's your land. Oh, well, virtual land that is. To achieve this, they divided the world into 1.6 trillion 300 meter squared hexagons called overlands. And each overland is an NFT on the Polygon blockchain. So that means no more expensive gas fees, and it's a lot better for the environment. So make sure you hurry now to secure the block of land you want. For this video, I was actually going to buy some plots of land in Queen Street, which is kind of like the hub around my local city, Brisbane. But as you can see, someone's already long since bought most of that main street there. So make sure you check out the Over website, which is a link at the bottom of the video here, as well in the description, as well as a download to the app that is also going to be in the description of this video. Now, if you really want to support this channel, supporting brands like this is the best way you can do that. This brand in particular was very nice to me and was a dream to deal with, and I can't wait to have them again in the future if they'll have me. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, the best way you can do that is literally just check out the website. That's all I ask. Have a little play around with it, download the app and see what you can do with it there. That's it, thank you so much, and now back to the Greentext. 7th grade. Eating lunch alone as always. Finish sandwich. Decide to take walk. Notice group of underclassmen doing something. Investigate. They're laughing and almost throwing rocks at something tucked away in the space between two buildings, but stopped at the last second. Run towards them yelling, "Hey!" They say, "Oh shit, it's a nun!" And they run off. The rumors about me being a schizoid and beating up kids for some reason. I never bothered to correct them. Notice someone sitting between the two buildings, sniffling and holding their head in their hands. Move closer and tap them on the shoulder. It's a girl, wearing a raincoat that goes down to her calves and a dirty pair of overalls over clothes. Ask her if she's okay. She starts sniffling harder and rocks on her heels a bit. I tell her it's okay and I ran those kids off. She relaxes a bit. Ask her what her name is. She looks up and says B in a tiny voice. Then gets up and runs off. She's really fast for a girl. Sit down at a bench until lunch ends. Next day. Eating a refried bean taco onto a tree. Someone sits next to me. It's B in the same raincoat. She takes a Tupperware from her book bag with croutons in it, pries it open and holds it out to me. I take one. This continues for a few lunchtimes. We sit together and share foods and talk about things. People start to notice. Get asked if she's my girlfriend or a new victim in passing. Don't care. Tell them to fuck off. One day, school lets out early because of floods. Neither of us have a quarter for the payphone, so we have to wait until our parents come pick us up. Decide to wait together, sitting under awning. Both throwing pebbles at school zone sign. Suddenly, a car pulls up. There's clothing all over the back seat and a little girl with her face pressed against the window. B says, "I have to go," and walks over. They leave. Keep throwing pebbles at the sign until parents get there. Think about it before bed. Go to sleep. Next day. At usual spot. B shows up, but she's later than usual. Looks kinda sullen. We share foods. She has crackers and cheese, and I have mini chocolate chip cookies. Talk to her. She's not eating anything and barely answering my questions. Ask her what's wrong. She gets really quiet, and all of a sudden picks up her crackers and runs off. Follow her. We meet on the blacktop. Ask her what's happening. "Shut up, Anon. I don't need your pity." I tell her I like being her friend and I don't pity her at all. She calls me a liar. I tell her I'm not lying and I really like spending time with her. "You just think I'm some poor little girl who needs your help, don't you?" I tell her I don't. "Shut up, Anon. Rich people like you are all the same." Wear really nice clothes because I have a great aunt who buys them for me, but my family lives in a studio apartment. Mum's a teacher and Dad left. Sometimes we don't eat before payday. Tell her. She makes me promise I'm not lying. I do. We go and sit down on an equipment locker. It's wet because of the flood season. Her raincoat tucks under her like a little ducktail, so she's fine. I tough it out and let my pants get wet. Turns out her family lives in that car. It's her mum and dad and little sister. Her dad had a job as a welder at a fabrication factory, but got laid off, and it's a small town, so there haven't been options. They had to leave their apartment, and they've been eating through their savings. She hasn't had any friends for a while. Stay silent while she tells me. Her voice shakes through some of it, but she makes it through. She makes it to the end. Tells me to promise I won't tell anyone. I do. Tell her she's still my friend. On the spur of the moment, reach over and hug her. We stay like that for a good 5 minutes. She feels really warm, even through the raincoat. Eventually, we pull apart and she smiles at me. The bell rings and we run back towards the school building together. Sit through a few periods of whatever until the day ends. See her as I walk out. Catch up with her. Ask her if I can meet her family. She says okay. We walk to the parking lot together. Car shows up, and almost as soon as we get there, hear a muffled, "Big sis is with a boy," through the glass. Hear Dad roll down the window and calls over. We walk to the car. Her mum asks, "Who's your friend?" "I'm Anon," I say. "I'm a friend of Bee's." Her little sister's name was Lisa, her dad's name was Hal, and her mum's name was Sarah. We talked for a while, and I told them about how we ate lunch together and shared food, while Lisa teased Bee in a sing-songy voice about having a boyfriend. Hal said we should get going, so we said our goodbyes and she climbed into the back. Walk over to a bench and watch them drive away. Play with a paperclip until my mom gets there. She pulls up as the sun's starting to set. She works late at a job. Get into the front and drive home. Have tuna on bread with celery and carrots for dinner. Go to bed. Look up to ceiling and think of Bee. Sleep. Next day. Show up to class, but school is cancelled as there's another flood and the budget for the district is horrible. Mom already drove off, so I guess I'm stuck here. Ah well. Walk around the back of the school because there's a path that leads to a cool adventure. There's a few other kids there because the school called late. See back of Bee's coat. Run up to her and put my hand on her shoulder. She starts for a second, and then turns around and realizes it's me. Tell her we should go together because school's off. She agrees. We leave from the back. We walk along the bike path towards the elementary school. She walks around the puddles even though she has rainbows. Ask her why. One has a crack near the end. We lull a little. Near the end of the bike path. Becomes more mud than road because city has horrible public works program. She gets worried and says we should head back. Bright idea to JPEG. Tell her I'll carry her. She says okay, but if I drop her, she'll beat me up. Agree. Buff little 7th grade body, cause brother did boxing drills with me before he left the army and I kept up. I dip down and she climbs onto my back with her little legs looped through my arms. Trudge forward and through the mud towards the venture place. Way up is slippery, almost fall a few times, but finally make it. As soon as we get there, Bee slides off my back and pushes me forward a bit. I trip and almost fall in the mud. Hear her giggling behind me. Pick up some mud and throw it at her. We end up picking up sticks and sword fighting. Most of the good sticks break, but we keep fighting on with the halves. Eventually, we get tired and lie down at the top of the hill. Rain has mostly stopped at this point, so it's just clouds. We're tracing shapes with them with our fingers. There's a nice view of the ocean. Suddenly, our hands collide. Look over at each other. Eyes meet. Realize how close we are. She looks like Lane, but with black hair, and without the hair thing, and a Genki childhood friend smile on her face while she's having fun. Hands are still touching in midair. She grabs my hand and laces her fingers with mine. We're still staring at each other. Pull her closer. It's cold, and I can feel her breath on my face. Kiss her cheek. We help each other up on the ground. She's really short, so we're not at the same height, even if she cranes upward. Pick her up. She grabs the back of my jacket in her hands and wraps her legs around my waist. We have our first kiss. It lasts for a long while. Eventually, I let her down. We hug for a little while longer. We lie back down and keep kissing. Time passes and it starts to rain again. Try and pop up an umbrella overhead, but it keeps failing. Eventually, just pitch it on the side and keep going. I'm on top of her at this point. Rain is dropping off my hair onto her face. Notice it's getting darker. We'd been out there for hours at this point. We should get back soon if we're going to meet our parents. Start to help her up. She grabs my shirt and she pulls me back down. Wraps arms and legs around me. I brush her hair out of her face and kiss her on the cheek again. She reaches up and pushes my chin towards her mouth. We kiss deeply and hug. Eventually, she lets go. We hug a little while longer. Have a knife, cause edgy.
Yeah.
We walk over to a tree. I carve a non plus a B in a heart. Doesn't look like it does in the movies, just a bunch of lines made into shapes and writing. We start walking. I pick her up and carry her through the muddy part. She holds the umbrella above us while we walk. When we get to the pavement, I load it down and take the umbrella, and we hold hands the rest of the way. Sitting on the bench in the parking lot, she slumps over and lies against my arm. Okay. I see a car pulling up through the fence. She sits up. It stops at the curb and it leans out. Hi, B. Hi, Anom. B smiles at me and gets up. I hug her and kiss her on the cheek again. She walks over and gets him. See Lisa showing her a picture in the back. They trace the lines with their fingers. Sit on the bench for like an hour and a half before Mom shows up. Get yelled at for not calling home about the flood. Don't care. Go to bed. Bed feels empty. Sleep. Go to school the next morning. See B. She walks over to me. Hugs me without saying anything. Hug her back. Nice. We stop going to the usual spot at lunch after that day. Spend the time sitting under the ramps at the skate park. I bring blankets, and we talk and share food and snuggle. I listen to whatever's going on with her. Her little sister Lisa wants to be a dwarf.
Yeah.
Always shows her pictures and tells her about them. One day, she brings a picture of us holding hands. She told Lisa that we're together. It's really nice. Looks like she took tips from those draw-your-own manga/cartoon books, but more with her own style, and without that weeby shit. Jokingly say we should hang it at our house someday. She gets really quiet and pulls closer. She asks if I really mean it. I say I do. She pulls herself up for a kiss. Nice. I give her the picture to keep, but says she can have Lisa draw another one if she wants me to have it. Keep it. Hide it in a secret pocket at the bottom of my travelling duffel bag. Pull it out and look at it sometimes. Nice. This continues for the rest of the year until summer break starts. Every year at the start of summer, the country holds a big fair. The town is really small, but shares an area with a much bigger city, Massachusetts. You know the one. So, the county fair is something that everyone looks forward to at the end of the year. Week off rolls around. Everyone carpools because the fairgrounds are far away and no one wants to pay for gas. Talk to B about it. She really wants to go, but her family barely has enough to get around as it is. They've budgeted through the last few months, but can't pay much for the gas. No, the bright idea, JPEG. Say we can all head up in Mum's car. Old Honda that barely runs on anything, so it's no trouble. She smiles and does a little half hop as if it almost lifts her body off the ground. Say I'll talk to my mom and get back to her. She says she'll tell her family. We kiss one more time and both head home. Talk to Mom and tell her a friend's family needs a ride. She agrees because something like that's not so big in town. Me and B start meeting up at the adventure spot every day. Next day, show up and tell her. She smiles and hugs me. Day of fair. We all meet up in the school parking lot and pile into the Honda. Mom and Sarah are in front of me, B and Lisa and Hal are in the back, with Lisa sitting on Hal's lap. They all introduce each other. We end up singing road trip songs all the way. Feels like a real family. Nice. We arrive and jump out of the car. Hal says we have to take Lisa with us. She's a nice kid when she doesn't have something to tease you about, so it's fine. Have $5 saved up. That was enough to buy things back then. So become designated pay. Get us all bracelets for $2. Buy 2 funnel cakes for $1. We split them. Have $2 left, so check on the games booths. We used to go into the woods with Big Brother and tear shit up with the airsoft guns, so decided to try my hand at a rifle booth. $2 to buy 10 shots. See a stuffed rabbit near bottom. Plink it with 2 shots and give it to Lisa. Nice. Set sights in the pink bear on the top row. It's all set up pretty solidly. Aim for the chest. Hit. It pinches a bit, but it stays where it is. Idea to JPEG. Aim for the shoulder. Bear shifts sideways. Aim for the other shoulder. It works! Repeat process until bear is sitting on the edge. Have 2 shots left. Hit the bear with the first, and it pinches its back. Hit the bear with the second. It actually fell. Fucking Kino to JPEG. Hand bear to B. It stands almost up to her shoulders. Nice. Decide to try some rides. Lisa is too scared to go on any of the bigger ones, so decide to take her on a few of the kiddie shits. End up at the Ferris wheel. Look down and see if we can spot anyone at the top. Mom and Sarah are chatting, drinking a hot chocolate in the food court. Mum insists on wearing this gigantic, obnoxious hat at the fair so we can spot her. It works. And Hal is talking to a city planner with a clipboard. Nice. Have disposable camera. We huddle in and take a picture. Connie yells up from the bottom to stop fucking around. We take some more and sit back down. Get off and go on more rides. Lisa decides she wants to try the tilt-a-whirl. She stumbles and she gets off, but is fine. We hit up the loop, see Bee's hair hang down at the top. Nice. Day's almost over, so we decide to try the Ferris wheel one more time. Lisa got tired and went off with parents. City left to drive back to area, so we have the car to ourselves. Nice. We get to the top. Bee brushes her hair out of her face and blushes a bit. We stand and kiss in the middle. Amazing. Head to car and head home. Nobody talks because Lisa's sleeping. Bee lies her head on my shoulder. Nice. Spend the rest of the summer break going to the adventure spot. One day, Bee shows up later than usual. Looks really sad. She wanders straight over and hugs me. We hold each other standing up. Ask her what's wrong. Apparently her dad's found a job. City of Boston's hired construction agency to help modernize infrastructure. They need welders. Job would require them to move. They could finally afford a nice apartment, and Boston's a much better school district. She breaks down as she tells me. We keep hugging. They'll have to be there within the next 2 months. Fuck. We decide to share food a little, like we used to that day. Don't go home until much later than we usually would. Finally get up. Stand together for as long as possible on the way back. Hug before parting. I stay up until 4 staring at that picture. Hide it and go to sleep. Feel that feel. Fuck. A week before they leave, we decide to spend more time together. Brother was a survivalist before he left. Has a little shelter in the woods we built together. Hidden under moss, has canned food and a camp stove, even a crossbow. Meet at the spot. I bring a bike, we both get on and take the path into the woods. Really quiet. Only sound is birds chirping. Bike for a bit. Hit a bunch of rocks and path dirt. Probably fuck up the wheels beyond repair. Don't care. We get there and unpack sleeping bags. I put on a can of alphabet soup while we wait for her to finish. Talk about the future. I don't really want to go into it. It starts to get dark. I brought my copy of Ender's Game. It had just come out. She asked me to read it to her. I do. I get to the part where he leaves for battle school before she falls asleep. I end up falling asleep next to her. We both wake up in the next morning and bike back. Parents are furious. Hers are a little more understanding, but mine are fucking enraged. Grounds me immediately. Don't care. Only reason I left the house was to meet with B. Spend the last days of summer break, locked inside doing nothing. First day of the 8th grade. Eat lunch alone again for the first time within a year. Fuck. Start to get angrier. Rumors haven't subsided. People still think I'm a schizo. Push people when they say things. One day, I get in the fight with a kid who called me a name. Get on top of him and beat his face until I saw blood. School almost expels me. Don't care. Mum was angry, but eventually just seems more sad. People get scared of me after that. Eat lunch alone without any trouble. Eat at escape rooms for nostalgia. Brother comes home for Christmas. Beat up each other like we used to, and he teaches me new boxing tricks he learned in the army. Leaves. Me and B take the train to meet each other whenever, get hot chocolate and feed birds. She looks really pretty with better clothes and regular showers. Spend the rest of 8th grade alone. Halfway through first year of high school, Mum says she might have a new job at UMass. She has a master's in English and is working on a PhD. This means I can see B again. I call her and tell her. Hear her cry on the phone. In the beginning of the 10th, we leave. Get there mid-June. I call B and ask her to meet me. Get to the town square and wait. I see her across the way. Yell, B! As loud as possible. She hears me. Run at each other across the street. Barely avoid traffic accident, but who fucking cares? Hug in the middle of the road. She's still as short as ever. Pick her up and walk to a bench. Kiss after an entire year apart. We have had enough for a single cone of chocolate with sprinkles. Buy it and eat it together. Some gets on her face. Wipe it off. She tells me about high school. She's doing fine. Dad sent her to a school in Cambridge. Was worried she'd end up in Southie, but welders make more than they should. She's a 9 out of 10 supermodel cutie by now. Guys in Cambridge are too lame to move. Spend days doing nothing but spending time together. Lisa's been getting better at drawing. One day, ask us to pose for her. We do. B sits in my lap for almost 2 hours. Despite best efforts, get a gigantic hard on half an hour in. She notices and smiles, shifts her butt around. Barely stops her from coming. Fuck. Idea.png. She's really light, so I shift her forward to hide the boner. Lisa's 13 by now, so I don't want her to seeing things. Suddenly, Dick slips between one of her thighs and pokes between her legs. Feel her start. Fuck. Remember, if you flex a muscle, it stops having a boner. Suddenly, flex arms and legs at full strength. Did nothing but work out for 2 years because there was nothing else. Leg muscles lift B slightly. This allows my dick to pull back and straighten. Fuck! She twitches again. Lisa asks if everything is okay. Tell her we're just restless from sitting. She buys it. Eventually, dicks get tired, and Lisa finishes the portrait. It looks great. She did some anime lines around the eyes and the face, but it's almost lifelike. Lisa gives us the portrait and goes to meet her friends. We end up making out on the couch for 3 hours. Snuggle for the other 2. It's like 8 at night, so then she's half asleep. Go up to the backpack. To get first picture of us, Lisa drew. Brought it over as surprise. Bring it down. Jostle her awake. She stares at it for a second and then starts to cry. Realize how lonely she must have been the last 2 years. Hug her. She sobs for what feels like hours. I tell her how much I missed her and how I wanted to be with her. Carry her up to bed. She still has that same pink bear we got at the carnival popped next up to her pillows. No. Lie down and hug her while she still goes to sleep. Her parents know about us at this point. We told them after a week we got here. Decide to sleep better with someone there. Get under the blankets. Sleep. Wake up the next morning. Things are downstairs. Looks like I slept on the couch. Basement. Start to make breakfast. There's bagels and ham, so I make bagels and ham. Bring her up a plate. She's asleep. Brush her hair up and let it fall in her eyes until she wakes up. Hand her breakfast in bed. She smiles like a kid. Nice. Her parents are asleep in the next room. Hal gets back late because welder. Leave 2 plates on the shelf by the door. Carry B downstairs. We watch Scooby-Doo and eat breakfast under the covers. Nice. Families get together on the 4th of July for dinner. Hal makes hot dogs and we watch fireworks from the deck. Everyone sits in lawn chairs and talks about random shit. Feels like a real family gathering. 10th grade starts. Really behind because shitty school system, but B tutors me and I catch up. End of year together. Have driver's license, so take car to adventure place. Lose virginities to each other under the same tree we carved their names in 2 years ago. Get married a few years later. End.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to Mr. Green and check out all of his social medias down below. My name Goda.